Hello, this is Stevie Collier with the Fantasy Fiends News. Today, dragons were seen flying across the castles, coming towards Andy's home. Was that not a good intro or what?
That was definitely not the worst intro you've ever done, Stevie. It was
Yeah.
certainly one of the top five most creative, but it was fine.
I got a little nervous there and the improv started going down, but hello and welcome to the Fantasy Fiends podcast. I'm Stevie Collier and I'm here with my co-host Andy Peliquin, and today we are here with the awesome Jen L. Gray, author of the Pearson Prophecy prophecy books. How are you doing, Jen?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well, doing well. Andy, how are you today?
I am super sore. These workouts that I've been doing for the last month have been kicking my ass, so I'm just glad that I get to spend the next hour sitting in a chair instead of moving around.
What workouts are you doing?
I started CrossFit.
Oh, you broke up CrossFit? Oh, okay. You go to a CrossFit gym?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing it for a month because I was like, I've got to get something, do something new aside from the gym. So I signed up for CrossFit, and it's bloody hard, but it's been fun.
Me, I'm getting ready for the Renaissance Fair, and as you know, I go shirtless every year. And this year, I'm investing in a. Jed's like, what podcast did I just get myself onto? And today's about sadism too, so it's going to get even more funny. But I'm investing in a gladiator costume, so I'm going to be even more in the nude, and I'm going to post all the pictures on the Fantasy Fiends podcast Facebook. So stay tuned. But no, I've put beer out of my diet, and I've went back to all my, because I used to be a trainer, so I have all my old meal plans, and I've lost, I think, 10 pounds of body fat. That's a lot of body fat for beer to put on you. It's true what they say. You can really get a beer gut. So it's going well, but I'm with you, man. I'm so hungry. Save me. I'm hungry.
What's interesting fun fact about gladiators is that they would feed them to fatten them up because fat bleeds a lot more. So then when they would get cut, it would be like twice as bloody as, say, a muscle cut, and then there would be far less damage.
So it's not true in the Spartacus movies how freaking ripped they are.
Hell no. No. Your average gladiator probably looked more like an Olympic bodybuilder style, that very thick, squat body, than someone who's super lean and sleek. That's the Hollywood body. Did not exist back then. Gladiators were maybe not like super fat, but they were very solid. They had super solid cores, and then there was like body fat all around it.
I love you, Andy. You know so much cool stuff. You're so awesome. One question before I get to Jen. Did people really die in the, gladiators? It seems like that's a big investment just to go out there and kill yourself,
Well, so back in that time, life was cheap. A lot of gladiators were slaves that came from, conquered nations around the world. Like even Spartacus, he was from somewhere. I think he might have been Thracian, which is
is what they say. Yeah. He wasn't from.
So like a lot of it was slaves, and slaves were super cheap back then.
All right, Jen. Sorry to get off topic like that. That's Andy. No, I'm kidding. That's Andy's tangent. So Jen, please tell us about the Pearson Prophecy books.
Okay, so I'm one of those who cannot speak eloquently about my own books, but if we want to talk about y'all's, I can. But long story short, it's a fantasy. Coming of age, if you will, book. So, yeah.
Oh. Hello, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, my computer's doing something weird.
Oh, no problem.
It's about an 18-year-old girl who her sister is the savior, or so they assume. And the king hates them, her and her older brother, because she was just a means to get to what he really wanted, and it's about her struggle and her growing. So, kind of high level, that's where it is.
Yeah, and you have really cool book covers, and they're really well rated. So if you're listening and you haven't checked out Jen's books, you really need to go and check them out. And today, is a topic I am very surprised we're talking about. It's something very dear to my heart, something I know about tremendously, and that is sadism. And not Satanism, like I first thought we were talking about. Thought I might be skipping this podcast. Sadism with a D.
Was pulling out Stephen was pulling out his inverted crucifixes and he was drawing a pentagram on his white cupboard. I was like, no, Stevie, that's not what we're talking about today.
And then I pulled no, never mind. And did you call me Steven?
Yeah, my son's name is Steven, so I'm so used to saying Steven.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. And so I asked, joining this podcast, whose idea it was for sadism. And apparently it was not Jen's. So we can get that out in the clear. It was not Jen's. She's not having a like.
Well, I was talking with Jen about, some of the themes of her book, and she was talking about how the king in the story was beating the main character. He was very abusive. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so why is he beating her? And throughout the conversation, it was pretty clear that the king was sort of taking out his frustrations or his anger or his fears out on this girl. And that is classic sadism. And it just so happens that when we were talking about it, I had been working on a post for my blog about the villain style sadist. And so I write these posts on different types of villains that are common in fiction. And the one that I was working on this week was sadists. And so I was doing a bunch of research on it. And so it's it was sort of fresh in my mind. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just know the very basics of it. So what is it? The 50 Shades of Grey has a lot of sadism in it, right?
That would be bondage, domination, and sadomasochism. That is a very niche, or it's specifically when it comes to sexual.
Is it? I don't know.
Okay. Sadism is actually much broader. It is not a recognized psychological disorder anymore. It used to be until a decade or so ago when they took it out so that it could not be used as a defense, like an insanity defense.
Oh,
If it's in the DSM, there's the chance that it could be used as a defense, but it is not. So
interesting.
So there is sexual sadism, which is a disorder. You can find that one all over the internet, and it is part of the DSM. But sadistic personality disorder, which is the personality type of people who derive pleasure from inflicting pain on others specifically. It's not a disorder, but it's very common. Actually, there was this experiment done in Canada, British Columbia, at one of these universities, and they collected a bunch of students and they asked them, okay, you will either break these paper cups and crush bugs in them, you will help someone to do that, or you refuse. And it turned out that 27% of the participants enjoyed crushing the bugs, and another 27% assisted the person killing the bugs. So that's 54% of the people in the study who showed these sadistic tendencies. But it's not sadism in the sense that you'd imagine. It's called everyday sadism. It's a very low degree where there's this sort of emotional benefit from causing or observing the suffering of others. I'm sure we're all familiar with the term Schadenfreude, which is, it's a German word. It means you enjoy seeing others suffer. And it's sort of what makes you feel, yes, the villain got what he deserved at the end of any great fantasy novel. The main character.
Yes. Right? Okay. No, first of all, no, I did not know that word. I'm not going to lie. Second, yes, I do feel that feeling a lot. And I think it's funny that you mentioned that. I think that's one of the big reasons why I enjoy writing fantasy is that final moment when everything, just comes to an end and the guy who just totally deserved it gets it, and then the last page, his finger twitches and he's still alive.
Yeah.
I just gave away the 4 territories.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Just kidding.
you also gave away your personality type. Good job.
Thank you. That I'm dorky / let me read my dating profile. I am a best-selling fantasy author, which means I'm the perfect /sadist who is the perfect mixture of dorky, geeky, nerdy, and sexy.
Well
I
done,
get
Stevie.
so many matches. You have no idea. No, I don't get any matches actually.
Anyways, back to the topic at hand.
Sadism was in that.
These everyday sadists are really common. You know, you've often seen it. These people who like they want to get you in trouble, so they'll tell your boss when you cut out of work, or they're happy when they see your boss yelling at you. You know, or when you do something, they'll retaliate and they will, you know, get revenge. And basically, sadism is all about fear. Basically, these people they often use they inflict pain on others to take control. There are 4 different types of sadists. There are explosive sadists. They lose control when they're frustrated, disappointed, hopeless, or humiliated. They lash out. It's explosive, it's visible, and they seek revenge, and they're the ones who are most likely to become violent. But not all sadists are violent. It's usually only people who are raised in a violent or abusive environment that actually act out violently. And it's very common to see violence in, say, fantasy, because violence was so prevalent in that time frame. You know, you've got the king who goes to war, he comes home and he abuses someone, he takes it out on them because violence is the world. Nowadays, a violent sadist is far less common. Most sadists nowadays tend to use psychological and emotional tools to harm them.
So this is reminding me kind of like psychopaths and sociopaths. Is this a trait, or does it go hand in hand?
Well, I read this article today that said the difference between sociopaths and psychopaths. I mean, sorry, sociopaths and sadists, and I cannot remember the differentiation, but they are different. Sociopaths, I believe, they lack remorse. Like there is that absence of remorse, and sadists, they just simply don't feel it because they feel that what they're doing is the right, or it's, you know, their way of taking control. There is a type of sadist. They are called enforcing sadists, and they use authoritative position to control or punish people they believe have broken the law, rules, or regulations. Perfect example is you know, the corrupt prison warden, or the guard who beats the inmates in the movies and TV shows. These are guys who they have this position of authority, and they are inflicting punishment on the people who've broken the law, so they feel justified. And it goes a step too far in that, you know, they're using their position and punishing people.
So, I was just gonna say, Jin, so this topic of sadism comes from a scene. Is it a scene in your book, or is it's an ongoing thing?
It's an ongoing thing.
Okay. And it's the king who's beating on the brother and sisters. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, the main character and her brother. Okay. Even when they were small. Yep.
And are these the brother and sister, are they like royalty? Or are they?
No, they're actually a poor family. That just, there was a prophecy. You know, most fantasy with a prophecy. And it was actually a poor family. And it kind of put them in the spotlight, and everybody was trying to get to them. This king got to them first and brought them there because their family was going to birth the Savior. So, yeah.
Kind of reminds me of King Herod and Jesus. Is that
King Herod?
Is it Harold or Herod?
The guy from the Bible?
Yeah, you know, when he goes and kills all the brothers because he knows that there's this king coming to dethrone him.
Oh yeah, when he kills all of the infants in Bethlehem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, well, I don't want to compare it to Jesus, but
oh well, yeah. Definitely not a good idea. Yeah,
but
and
yeah,
I love this topic because it gives me an idea for a new like if I want to create a villain as a child, you know, and show his story, I would totally make him sadistic as a child and, you know, hurting animals or something like that. Andy, am I using it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
sadistic is the term or the way of doing it.
Yeah.
okay. Actually, I think I can't talk about this. Is YA, right? You did say this is young adult.
Well, yeah. Well, it's YNA. It starts out more YA, but the second book more NA. So.
Oh, okay. I got you. Um, all right. So, and you are releasing the third book in May.
Yes, and the second book comes out February 22nd. Yes. And
Oh, the second book's not even done yet.
yeah, I know it comes out this month. So yeah, and this one is not actually in the kingdom. So, yeah.
Oh, so it has a new protagonist and everything?
No, it's the same main character. The king does something to her and she has to leave. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah.
I'm just pulling out the all the details of this book. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
So
if you read the
Andy,
blurb,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So Andy, again, you said that sadism is different from psychopaths.
Yeah. Yes. Sociopaths lack remorse. Psychopaths are different enough that they're not. There's no comparison. Sociopaths, they lack the remorse, and so their actions are different. But sadists, they know that what they're doing is hurting people, and they choose to do it anyways for different reasons. Like tyrannical sadists derive satisfaction from the submission of their victims. They want their victims to cower. So they're the kind of ones who who the prison or the typical jailer in fantasy novels, the big guy with the bald head and the scars, super ugly, who goes and he beats the hero to try to, frighten them, and then the hero breaks out and kills the jailer. All of that. That's the tyrannical sadist. And then there's spineless sadists. These are the ones that are the most insidious. They are super insecure, super cowardly, but they always strike first because they're always afraid of what's going to happen. They're always like, okay, they're going to attack me, so I'm going to attack first. It's, preemptive strike. They use aggressive hostility to forestall and prevent aggression. And they do it to send the message that they aren't actually afraid, which they are. So their actions, their sadism is like a mask that they use to hide how afraid they are.
That would be my favorite one to write about. That, like you said, that does sound insidious. What would be cool though is if like he's sort of spineless. He's the character is kind of sorta spineless, sadistic, and it just comes out of him and he's like, I don't know, he cuts his brother's throat on accident, and then he sees like, oh crap, what the heck did I just do? What do you think about that? Like,
he accidentally cuts
his
brother's throat.
So no. Okay, not accidentally. Well, it's just like he knows his big brother's coming to hurt him, and he's spinelessly sadistic. Maybe I'm not using it right, and so he just stabs him real quick and he's like, oh crap, what did I do?
That would be more explosive because they become unpredictably violent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, because you're talking about someone who is fighting for their life or their well-being, it's a different sort of thing. A sadist is
right.
someone who is in a position where maybe like they're set off by perceived slights, small insults. Like they're very petty in a way. It's not like I'm going to fight for my life, so I'm going to attack first. It's like, Steve, you're looking at me weird, and I know you're about to say something that's going to make me look bad on camera, so I'm going to attack you first. That's a spineless sadist.
Oh, okay. I totally misunderstood you then. Okay. That's really interesting. See, I never took psychology in college. I took sociology. And, when the class was over and I woke up, just kidding. I actually liked my sociology class, but we briefly went over them, and I never really understood the difference between. Well, yes, I did, but I just keep forgetting. And I feel like everyone could just. I don't know if either of you have ever heard this, but like you'll meet somebody and then your friend or your family member is like, oh, he's a total sociopath. It's so easy to call somebody a sociopath. Jen's like, I've never heard that. He's such a total sociopath. Like I even had a friend in college who was just like, oh, don't talk to him. He's a sociopath. You should have seen him at this last party. And I was just like, that seems
Yeah.
like that's like a strong word to
But
call
that's
somebody.
like that's the sort of old school ignorance that would make people call other people retards. You know,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
before these things were sort of common knowledge or much more commonly talked about, which is actually something that I'm quite happy about. Is that all these disorders and things are being discussed more openly, so it's not like it's not as insulting as it once was, because you know that if you say, oh, he's a sociopath, it's like, well, he's probably not, because we know what sociopaths are now. Before it was
Uh-huh.
like, oh my god, that's the worst insult, because no one really
Yes.
knew.
Yes. Oh, okay. So a sociopath could be just like calling somebody a retard. It's just an insult, an ignorant insult.
Exactly, it's someone
That's
speaking out of ignorance.
that's
It
where I
is
was coming from.
actually quite hard to tell a sociopath apart from a normal person or from
And
a
that's what's scary,
neurotypical
right?
person. Exactly.
Aren't
Yeah.
they
And
usually charismatic?
That's what I've
there
heard.
are a lot of sociopaths and psychopaths who are very charismatic, and then there are some who are not. The whole thing is the whole point of that is that they are everyone. There are some traits that they all share, but then it's not like they have 10 personality points that they hit each one. Some have 2 or 3, some have 4, some have all 10. Like you can find sociopaths that seem absolutely normal their entire lives, and then something snaps and they change, or there is no change ever. They're just different.
Andy, I have a question for you. Jen, maybe
No,
you
I
too,
am
if you've
not a
read this.
sociopath.
No, okay. Well, that was my second question. Um uh oh god. Now you got the book was in my head. It was a huge movie, and people thought it was a movie first, but it was a book first. And it's about that guy who finds money in the desert, and he's chased by this crazy dude for that money named Chigger.
Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't
is
watched
it the
that.
one
No
with
Country
Matthew
for Old Men.
McConaughey? Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, have you read the book?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. The ending's horrible, but the book is amazing. The ending is not horrible to some people, but to me, it wasn't definite enough. Anyway, this guy, he's very quiet. He has no emotion. He's just like a brick wall. And we like studied this guy for like 3 weeks while reading this book, right? It was crime fiction. And he would just like, if you just talk to him funny. There's a scene at a gas station where this old guy is like just having a normal conversation with him, and he's like, "Flip this coin. If it's heads, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you."
Oh, I think I've
What?
heard of that.
Yeah. What would that be? What? That wouldn't be sociopath though, would it?
There's so many different things it could be. Like
Okay.
there are so many different disorders and anti-personality, or it's not, it's antisocial disorders, personality disorder. There's so many different traits that can make people do that.
Okay. Well, you said
But yes,
psychopath is
it's
different,
super
right?
hard.
Like it's in a whole different genre, right?
Yeah, I
What is
believe
that?
psychopaths and sociopaths are they're both antisocial personality disorder, whereas sadists are slightly different. Let me see. They are.
Jen, are you learning a lot like I am?
No, actually, I am.
I had no
It's,
idea.
it is a personality disorder. With sort of, it's in the same category as psychopathic, but it's non-specified. Like you've got dramatic personality disorders, which are antisocial, borderline, narcissistic. You've got anxious, which are dependent, obsessive, compulsive, and then there's these ones that are non-specified personality disorders, like depressive disorder, passive aggressive, sadistic, and
Yeah.
psychopathic. So they're just sort of unclassified, as it were.
And Jen, I have a question about your story. Feel free to tell me it's too much or it gives away too much. Why doesn't the king simply kill the boy and the girl?
For appearances. Like I said,
Oh.
other victims are trying to get to them as well. So loyalty, appearances. So
I got you.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know if that was going to take too much from the story or not.
No, it's pretty much the first. It's easy to figure out.
And where did this story come from?
I don't know. It really, honestly, I never planned on writing, and the story kind of came to me, and it wouldn't get out of my head. I'm gonna blame Cinderella and the stepmom, maybe,
Okay. Yeah.
something like that. But I have magic there. But I don't know. It just came to me, and over a period of 3 or 4 months, and I decided to give my hand a chance at writing it down and seeing how it happens and see how what happens. So
You just kind of fell in love with it after that.
yeah,
That's awesome. I didn't know how big of an industry this was, or I just kind of like you. I just kind of fell into it and fell in love with it. Met Andy, fell in love with him. After our third child, yeah, similar. I know the day I knew I was going to write my book, though. I was at the beach and my friend got drunk and told me a really cool story. I'm like, you know what? That's a book idea right there. And I asked him for permission and then wrote it. So of course it's a lot different now. But
right.
Is there any magic or sorcery or anything like that in your book?
She's essentially an elemental.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what the women are. So.
Oh, all the women are elemental.
Yes, the men are not.
Oh, they're not elemental.
Only the women.
Okay, only the women are.
Depending on their hair color, the darker red it is, the more magic they possess.
Andy, that sounds familiar.
Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker has colored hair.
Okay, maybe that.
I don't know.
So
yeah.
So if they have red hair, they have a different elemental power.
No, the darker it is, the more powerful they are. The lighter it is, they don't have any.
So
you can tell by the hair color how strong one is.
You would be very powerful then.
Who, me? No, my hair's not red.
Oh, okay.
Only red-haired people have it?
I'm sorry?
Only red-haired people have it?
Well, except for the main character. She has black.
Oh, I kind of just stumbled on the red. I was just wondering like if different colored hair had different powers. So red is important in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was a little bit confused. Okay. I love that. And I bet, speaking from business perspective now, I bet women love that. That would be so cool, right? And because I know a big part of reading a book is sometimes you put yourself in that place. So women with these different hair colors were like, oh, well, I would be. It's kind of like putting yourself in a Harry Potter house is what it reminds me of. I'm Gryffindor, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've never taken the test, but I'm almost certain I'd be a Hufflepuff.
What? Not Ravenclaw?
I don't know. I'm pretty torn between the three houses, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff. There are a lot of things about myself that are very Hufflepuff.
Why doesn't anybody ever want to be Slytherin?
I love Slytherin. It was like, if you do the percentages, mine was the least Slytherin, but my brother was like 95% Slytherin. So, and I was like really like above 90% Gryffindor. Wow. I think I really just showed how nerdy I am.
I'm pretty sure we all just did. Hey, do you guys want to take a test to see how much of a sadist you are?
I'm scared. Yes, I do.
So these are 10 questions from what's called the Short Sadistic Impulse Scale. It was developed by a psychologist in the early 2010s. And so these are 10 questions. You don't have to answer them aloud, yes or no, but you need to keep track of how many points you have. And at the end, you have to tell me how many points you have, okay?
Wait, okay. I need a piece of paper. Do I need a piece of paper?
You can use a piece of paper or you can count on your fingers because there's literally only 10 questions, Stevie.
I don't know if I can do it right. Okay. Go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, so question 1. I enjoy seeing people hurt.
So is yes 1 point and no 0 points?
Exactly.
Okay, just making sure.
Right. Wait, hold on. Yes was 1 point, no was 0 points, right?
Yes, correct.
I need a calculator. Hold on. No, go ahead. All
right. Number 2, I would enjoy hurting someone physically, sexually, or emotionally. The answer is yes.
God.
Or no. Well, this is a test specifically to define sadism or the sadistic personality.
Are you taking this test too?
I am not, because I took it earlier. I took it earlier while I was making the blog post.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Okay.
Yeah, I know my score. Thankfully, I'm not. Oh. Okay, number 3. Hurting people would be exciting. Yeah.
3 for 3, baby.
Number 4, I have hurt people for my own enjoyment.
And when we say hurt, just to clarify, we're talking about emotionally and or physically.
Physically, sexually, emotionally, and we're going to say mentally or psychologically as well.
All of this has to go with sex. All of these are sexually as well.
Not sexual. Well, basically anything where you are inflicting hurt on other people, any sort of hurt would be.
Oh God. Can you read question 1 again?
Do you enjoy seeing people hurt, Stevie? All right. Question 5.
I don't like this test.
Question 5. People would enjoy hurting others if they gave it a try. That sounds like the voice of Satan.
Vague.
Yeah. Like, what is the degree of pain?
Try it, you just might like it. All right, number 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, the whole thing is like that mindset of yours. Like, yeah, of course people would enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
Someone who thinks that, like, yeah, totally. That's sort of a sadistic trait.
I got you.
All right,
that helps.
Number 6. I have fantasies which involve hurting people, and I hit a yes on this one because I have often thought of that asshole who cuts me off in traffic, dragging him out of the car and throwing him in. Just bad things. That's pretty normal.
What's wrong with you, you monster?
Number 7. I have hurt people because I could.
Not to be weird, but this still involves the sexual stuff, right?
But we're talking like actual hurt, not like a little playful.
Oh, I gotta redo my answers. Hold on. I think. Okay, go ahead.
How is this test so hard?
This is very ambiguous.
Okay, number 8. I would not intentionally hurt anyone.
You would not intentionally hurt.
Not. Yeah.
I feel like that's a trick question.
Yeah, so 1 or a yes would be a 1, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, it's weird.
Number 9. I have humiliated others to keep them in line.
Oh, have I?
Humiliated,
no.
Not hurt. Humiliated.
Yeah.
Number 10. Sometimes I get so angry I want to hurt people. All right. Count them up.
I'm reading Jen's. She has a 10 out of 10, and me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yep.
What was your score?
What's your score, Stevie?
I changed it. It was a 3.
3. All right. Jen?
2.
2. There you go. Basically, if you score 4 or lower, like 96% of the people who took this test, you are not an everyday sadist. For anybody who scores 5 or higher, you are an everyday sadist. And remember, an everyday sadist isn't someone who does these things that are super overtly terrible. An everyday sadist is someone who gains emotional benefit from causing or observing the suffering of others. And again,
no,
like
I can tell you that's not me.
But it's an interesting.
So what was your score?
My score was 4.
Whoa!
Well, because like I said, I have thought of, some asshole cuts me off in traffic, and every guy has that instinct that I'm gonna punch his face in.
Well, I think a lot of people on this show know this about me, but I'm really big into self-help, and it's so weird that you bring that up, but that's like one of the main like staples of self-help authors is the whole cut off in the middle of the intersection. And the way you're supposed to think about it is, that person was probably just in a hurry. They didn't see me, or their grandma's on fire, something like that. And those thoughts calm me down, but apparently not Andy.
No, it's not something that I deal with all the time. I'm not a road rageful person. But actually, as part of my Asperger's syndrome, one thing that Asperger's people often have is justice. Like this things are right or wrong. So if it's my turn to go at the stoplight or the stop sign and someone goes, my brain is telling me, no, that is wrong. I am 100% in the right, and that guy is wrong. Like, it's not this, whatever, flow. It's just part of the Asperger's thing. And I'm not blaming, anything on that, but it is one thing that I learned about myself that is caused by my Asperger's. And so it's like a conscious effort to overcome it in order to avoid those sort of situations.
That's something you would never think about. Wow, that is really interesting. I know somebody, I won't say her name, but she was like, I was scared to drive in the car with her because the anger would just radiate. And sometimes it would ruin the day. That's how bad it was. And I was literally fearful, like bad. I couldn't believe it, and I never really believed in road rage until I met this person. I was like, wow, you really want to hurt this person. You really like want to hurt him. And I was like, just let him go. It's not that. Andy, didn't you say I think it's when we met up for a beer and you said something about how I hope you have a bad day. In that remember you said that you're like somebody, like if they cut out in front of you, you're like, I hope you have a bad day.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I love that. It's so funny. Is that the Asperger's too?
Maybe there are a lot of things that the Asperger's influences that I don't know or that I'm not consciously aware of, and then when I learn about it, or every time I learn something new, it's like, oh, so that's why. And of course there are very many personality things that, like, that Asperger's affects the personality and the personality affects the Asperger's.
Oh yeah.
Both of them sort of inflame the negative traits of each other.
I got you.
So maybe my personality is not actually very impatient, but because of the Asperger's, I'm very impatient. Or maybe I am very impatient, and then the Asperger's just makes it worse.
Yeah.
It's sort of the double negative, so to speak.
We should really have a podcast on this because it's something I'm ignorant in as well. So, well, yeah. So should we go ahead? Oh, do we have a word of the day?
I did not think of one.
Okay, well, we had 2 last week, so that's good this week. Mine obviously won last week, so you broke your you went off air for a while.
Yeah, my word was so awesome though. Did you guys end up hearing it?
No, I couldn't hear it. So you want to do that this week then?
Yes. Okay, so there's 2 words. Let me see. Okay, the first word is gynocentric, as in a government of women. That gyno is women. And then phallocentric is a government of men.
Okay, I see phallo from phallic.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny how the word phallic is there. And it's one of the most common themes is that men are driven by their dick. And one of the best parts of Wonder Woman
Sorry, Jen.
was that scene where Wonder Woman's talking with Steve Trevor. He's naked in the hot tub, and she's talking about his watch, saying, you're driven by that thing, as in he's ruled by time, but he thinks it's his penis. And it's just such a perfect example. And I think it was really only something that a female director would have added, because I don't know if a guy would actually poke fun at men like that. So
I probably was thinking the same thing.
Refreshing parts of the whole movie was that it was so funny how that little thing controls everything, and it was such an obvious.
Oh, yeah, and he said it's not that little, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's the perfect way, because it really does describe how, or it sort of encapsulates that feeling of how guys are so driven by their dicks. And so a government not driven by men, which would be androcratic, because andro is referring to the gender of men, but phallocratic. Such a great word.
Well, here's a question. Oh, I am so sorry I have not been looking at the chat. I've been so interested in this topic. Real quick question before we go to the reading, which I'm excited about. Maybe I get to do one of my girl voices. If we did have a is it gynocentric? Is that what it was called? Gynocentric country, how do you think it would be? I can't really imagine it. The only thing I can think of is Rick and Morty's episode where they go to the planet and it's just covered in women. and
I love that.
Okay, don't hate me, Jen, but have you watched Rick and Morty?
No, sorry.
Okay, well, the main punishment, if it was like near the execution level was if a girl did something wrong, they suffered like 3 days of being ignored or something. Oh, the silent treatment. That's what it was. You are hereby the silent treatment. I thought that was so funny. But that's Rick and Morty for you.
The way I'm here if you need to talk was their greeting.
Yeah, I'm here if you need to talk was their greeting.
The great passive aggression. That episode was hilarious.
Is that what it's called?
The war between men and women was called the Great Passive Aggression.
Oh, Jen, you got to watch it. Rick and Morty is amazing. So, okay, so are we ready for the reading? And this is from the first book, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put it into a Word document real quick. So, Jen, the way we like to do this is we have the author tell us what parts she wants us to play, and she can play a part herself, or she can be the narrator, or she can give the narrator job to someone else. So it's all up to you. You're the director.
Oh goodness, I didn't prepare for this part.
We kind of throw it on people at the last minute.
I'm gonna let y'all play the parts. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good.
But how does did I go away?
No, you're still here.
There? Okay, because I was like, oh, I don't have the words in front of me. So what? So you guys just read the speech parts? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and you'll say the he said, she said stuff as well.
Okay. All right. Okay, so to kind of set the scene, this is her. This is near the beginning of the book. She's going to training because she just reached the age where she could go to training. So let me clear out some stuff here so I can actually see the email. Or let me know when you guys are ready and I can start reading.
Who am I going to be speaking?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's 3 girls, so I don't know how you guys want to do this.
Andy, do you want to play the 2 parts?
Which 2?
I would say, who wants to be the main character?
I could do the main, and then Andy could do the 2 side, or I could do the 2 sides. Andy, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
How about
you be the main guy?
Well, one of you need to be the main character probably, and one of the sides.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's going to get confusing.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Okay, so which one are you going to be? The teacher, or are you going to be Elizabeth?
I'll be Elizabeth.
Okay, you're a jerk. Be prepared.
I'm a what? A jerk. Okay. Jerk. And
yes,
is it a guy? The teacher?
No, it's a girl jerk. Her name's Elizabeth.
Right, so who am I going to be? I'm going to be Mrs. Holcomb and Emerson.
Does Emerson talk? I don't know if she does.
Okay.
If so, you can be Emerson too. How about that?
All right.
Okay. All right.
Do they have accents of any sort?
I'm sorry?
Do they have accents of any sort?
You can own this. You can make it what you want it to be.
Right. So I'm Elizabeth and who?
Arya, the main character.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So finally, I make it into the training room. I really hate this room because it's so bare. It's in the basement and the walls are ancient looking, like an old cathedral. The floor is marble and there's a large chandelier hanging in the center of the room. Of course, Elizabeth is already here with her friends surrounding my sister. Emerson looks over and gives me a small smile. I give her a small smile back. Her red hair, like the other girls, is elegantly pulled back into a fancy ponytail. All the girls wear dresses, though they are more informal compared to their fancy gowns. Elizabeth snickers while pointing at me.
Emmy, I can't believe you're related to her. Look at her wearing pants, like one of the gods.
Really, this is the best she has? I really want to respond, but no better than to engage the beast. I made the mistake once, and the king gave me 20 lashes for that offense. My sister doesn't react to the comment, but all the other girls laugh loudly. Wearing common clothes makes me a target, but even if I tried to conform, my hair just wouldn't allow it. It is black as night, which contrasts with every female in our kingdom. A dark red color is what every female covets. The darker the red, the more powerful the woman. My sister's hair is red as blood, and Elizabeth's is almost the exact same shade. Elizabeth knows my sister will be the savior. Even though I can't stand the princess, I'll admit she is smart enough to align herself just right so she could take the credit as her friend and mentor. Just then, our instructor joins us.
Now, girls, please behave yourselves. Let's stop focusing on differences when we have important things that need all our focus. We must learn how to channel and control your magic with perseverance and determination.
Miss Holcomb is blunt and well respected in the community. Her hair is just slightly lighter than Elizabeth, signifying she's the third strongest in our kingdom. Just like all the other ladies, she's wearing a fancy lavender gown and has a loose ponytail. She's in her 40s, but you would think she was in her 20s. What I love most is her no nonsense attitude.
Now, let's learn how to channel our energy in such a way that it doesn't drain us. Our power is made by the surrounding elements, the air, earth, water, and fire. Our body houses the energy, and it is drained from us as we use it. We need to learn how to tap into our surroundings to help aid us so that we do not drain ourselves. In battle, endurance is everything. The first ones drained are the first to fall.
Motions for us to spread out and work on connecting with the elements. We are to sync our energy with nature. This happens naturally to me, so how in Canova do I pretend to struggle doing this? I move towards the back of the room so I can go more unnoticed. However, Elizabeth is watching me. My attention slips just for a second, and the burst of power blazes through me, burning. What in the hell am I supposed to do? It's just building. My insides feel raw, and my knees buckle, no longer able to support me, causing me to fall to the ground. After a few moments, Elizabeth laughs.
It looks like she's not as powerful as we thought. She struggled so hard tapping into the elements that she drained within minutes.
I'm so sick and tired of her taking every opportunity to kick me, especially when I'm already down. I take a deep breath. This is actually a good thing. Now I'll be able to go unnoticed for a little while longer. Miss Holcomb gives me a wary look, but focuses her attention to Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, we do not poke fun at any student in my class, no matter who it is. This is a safe place to learn, and it will stay that way. Do you understand?
Elizabeth flushes.
Lydia, you will address me as Princess Elizabeth, and remember that this is my kingdom. I will not be reprimanded by the likes of you. I'm not sure why you hold this position, but I will get my father, your king, to remove you.
It takes everything in my power not to roll my eyes. I should be surprised by Elizabeth's blatant disregard for people in general, but she is her father's daughter. Miss Holcomb's laugh.
Go ahead and try. This is my classroom, and if you want to be taught by me, you will have respect for every person in here. I don't have time for politics or drama. You are dismissed, Princess Elizabeth.
Did she just kick Elizabeth out? That's unheard of. Elizabeth stands frozen, her face growing redder every second. Soon she turns and races out of the room. The silence that follows the slam door is deafening. Miss Holcomb takes a minute before speaking.
There are rules in this classroom, rules that everyone must follow, regardless if you are the princess, the savior, or disfavored. Does everyone understand that in this classroom, we are to be treated with the utmost respect?
Elizabeth's friends just look at one another, and Emerson nods in agreement. After her display, I don't want to anger her. I've heard the rumors of the wrath she's capable of and just witnessed a tiny show of her anger.
Good. I think we've dealt with enough today, and I'm sure the king will be here soon. Everyone is dismissed, except for Oriah.
My stomach drops. Maybe I am in trouble after all. Everyone scurries out the door, leaving me alone with the teacher.
That was so cool. I really felt like I was like in the middle of some like high school drama or college drama. I've never read a book like that, you know, just like, oh my God, I can't believe she just did that. It's so cool. It's so
as
cool.
I was reading it, I sort of got a Professor McGonagall vibe.
You did.
Professor McGonagall was, what's her name? The one with the quill pen who the super evil one.
Snape?
No, the woman. Who shows up in the later Harry Potter books, who makes Harry write out the stuff and it's like cutting into the back of his hand.
Oh, the red-haired woman.
Yes.
I don't remember her. She's from like the council or whatever.
Yeah.
Umbridge?
Yes. If it was McGonagall mixed with Umbridge, that was who I was imagining.
I was thinking, is it Professor Flickwick? Swish and flick. that voice. Either way, Professor McGonagall was there totally. I loved it. I felt like my voice was a little too sinister.
Yeah, you were like some goblin thing.
Well, I didn't know. Like I can't do two girl voices, so I had to do something really sinister because I thought I was gonna have to do the main character. I thought I was gonna have to do something softer. So I tried to do something completely different. So I just ended up looking stupid. Like some goblin. Wow, I was like holding in my laughter that entire time. That was so fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You really did a very good job of getting me in that scene of cat fight, like the cat fights with women. It's scary, they're so mean to each other.
Yes, they can be.
Yeah. So awesome. Is there anything, Jen, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say it looks like you guys are wrapping up. Thanks for having me on here. I truly appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Yes. And where can we find you, and where can your fans find you?
I'm on Facebook. Jennifer Gray is actually my Facebook name, but my author name on there, I have an author page and everything, is Jen L. Gray. Twitter's at author Jen L. Gray. And I can't remember anything else off the top of my head, but Facebook is where I'm mainly at. So, yeah.
Oh, cool. I just found you and added you. Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the air with us. I hope it wasn't too weird.
It's fine.
Andy, and who are we having next week?
All right, so next week we are having Rhett Bruno and Steve Bolio. I don't know how to pronounce his last name because it's confusing. But these are awesome guys. They wrote this new book called Web of Eyes. It's this pretty classic sword and sorcery fantasy adventure story. I've read the first chapter, so it's pretty awesome.
The Web of Eyes?
Yeah.
Oh. That's going to be... Jamie Castle?
Yes, Jamie Castle. There you go. I think that's the pen name for the two of them.
Okay, wow. It's brand new, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, releasing in a couple of days.
Awesome. Well, Jen, now that you know you're not a sadist, we will let you go on your way. And Andy, who is the closest to sadism, everyday sadism, he's a Satanist. He's a Satanist. Okay, I'll end it there. Jen, thank you so much for being on the air. If you're watching, please like and subscribe. That helps us so much, so very much. If not for Andy, do it for me, please. That would help us out. If you're listening, please leave us a review on iTunes. That would be greatly appreciated. Again, thanks, Jen. Andy, thanks for being here, and we will see you next week.
Hooray!
Hooray! Bye.